YouTube? It's Mike with Off the Deep End Aquatics, back with another video. Today's video is kind of what I would call phase 2 of a big project that I'm working on. So as you can see behind me, I've got the 240 upstairs, so let's go through what's been going on the past week, and I'll take you through the steps of getting it up here and what's been going on. Also, that first intro clip, that was in response to a challenge that Matt's Monster Fish challenged me to on Instagram. You want to see the full clip? Go check it out on Instagram at Off the Deep End Aquatics, and also go check out Matt's video on Instagram at Matt's Monster Fish. Really cool. It was pretty funny, but I had to make a fool out of myself and get in the tank. So I might do a behind the scenes on me getting in, because I have a bunch of footage from getting in and out of the tank and stuff and making a big mess. If you want to see that, let me know. I'll make a short video of just me making a fool out of myself getting in the big tank. But for now, let's go through what's going on the past few weeks. Alright guys, so I managed to get the canopy off of the 240 myself. That was scary. Almost died. No big deal. Won't be dramatic about it. But anyway, it's off, and I was able to lift the tank. The tank's pretty light, so that's not a problem. That's the great thing about acrylic. Lift the tank, get a couple of 2x4s under it, and what I need to do is take this return 3/4 inch bulkhead out and take the other one out on the other end, because the hose section, the hose adapter section, broke off on me when I was trying to detach the hoses on both of them. So they're just shitty bulkheads. Whatever, so that's what I'm doing now, and I'm gonna take those out. I'm just gonna cut this off up here and then patch in my new ones. And I've got a small section with a couple of couplings here to do that. So real simple. It avoids me rebuilding all that, which is really easy too, but actually it's probably the same amount of work, to be honest. But rather than pull that apart, I'm just gonna cut and glue these new ones in. And that's it. And that is the complete, just a little patch in here with the new bulkhead, and these are much better bulkheads with the hose adapter fitting. So I already did one, put that in, and I like to raise the tank up because it makes it way easier to get to bulkheads. So all fixed here. I'll put the second one in. It, and then I will put the nut on that and be all set. And I come up over the top out of this tank because the weir was never drilled. A lot of weirs are drilled in like the front or in the side for your returns. This one was never drilled, and I didn't want to drill it, so I just came up over the top. I don't mind that. Plus, it's a good siphon break, so you never back siphon when you turn stuff off because they're so high up. And I run an FX6 on this, so circulation isn't a problem. These will mainly just hit the top of the, shoot water at the surface for surface agitation, and the FX6 will move stuff around at the bottom. Alright, I did another crazy thing myself. I was able to get the tank off the stand and onto some horses so I can flip the tank, stand upside down. I'd like to take a look at the bottom of the stand now and see how bad it is, because I had a bunch of leaks while it was here, a bunch of different plumbing mishaps, things like that. And I'd like to see how bad the damage is underneath. So amazingly enough, it's really not bad. Could have been worse, a little bit of mold buildup, but definitely not bad. No real damage to the stand at all, so. Alright. Yeah, they are. Worse for me. So guys, we got the tank upstairs. I'm excited. It doesn't really match up here, but it still looks nice. I'm really happy with this spot. It's kind of like right in front of the dining room table. So really cool. And I've got a good amount of the plumbing done, but I'm actually upgrading the pump from what I was using on this before. So I have a little bit more plumbing to do. And then this is ready for water. So a lot of people have asked about the weight of the tank on the first floor when I posted this on Instagram and on Facebook. So I don't have to worry about the weight of the tank on this floor. My floor can easily handle this. Plus I've added a partition wall underneath this tank, which also acts structurally to help support the floor a little bit. That really wasn't necessary, but I had to add the wall no matter what. So there is no issue. I won't have any issue with bounce or anything. Plus the house is very new, so it can easily handle something like this. It's not that big, although when you do the math, you're like, wow, it's crazy. It's close to 3,000 pounds. Yes, that's a lot of weight, but houses are amazing. So I am not worried or concerned about the weight. Should not be any kind of issue at all. I am just hope that I never get any kind of leak because I don't want to destroy my house. But actually I have very good access to the floor underneath, and it wouldn't be too big of a deal if I ever had a problem. But never want that to happen. So yep, let's finish this plumbing up and then we'll start getting fish into this. Here we are updated. I've got the plumbing done and I'll take you through what I did here. So I replaced those returns, the 3/4 inch returns, and I salvaged the old 1 inch overflows. So none of the overflows had to change. I didn't have to change any bulkheads, and I kept the plumbing the same. But I ended up swapping out the pump that I was using on this. One, because it didn't turn over as much water as I wanted, and two, because it was getting noisy. So I had this other pump running on another tank that didn't need quite as big of a pump, so I wanted to utilize it better. So I'm using it on this tank, but it became a little complicated because all it came with was a hose adapter. So I couldn't do hard plumbing on it, so I had to make do with what I had. So this looks a little bit ugly. I don't really care, nobody's gonna see it, and it's gonna be effective. So we're coming out of the pump with an 1.25 inch line, and then we split off to 2 3/4 inch lines. That was the best I could do. Unfortunately, I couldn't really run it any other way, but this is the best way for me to utilize the amount of water that this pump can turn. And I believe this is close to 3,000 gallons per hour. So I'm trying to maximize what I get out of this pump basically. And it's a pretty nice pump, it's not very old. So that's why I did it this way. It's not exactly the greatest thing. Got some soft lines. I do prefer soft lines when I can. These vinyl lines are a little easier to work with sometimes than doing hard plumbing all the time. So made it work with what it is. But that's it. I'm going to add water. Okay guys, it's moving day. I've got pretty much all the wood and rocks moved over from the 180. Now I'm gonna start adding fish. I added a few towels to the back because I know when I drop a fish in, they're gonna splash everywhere, so I'm trying to protect the wall a little bit. And yeah, let's do it. First fish in, Synodontis decorus. Oh, there it is. There's that splash I wasn't looking forward to. Okay, second fish, black line pike cichlid. Gonna make a huge mess here. Okay, red devil. Hybrid TSN ripsaw. number 1. Gar number 2. Synodontis cat. My original big old Florida gar. Here's the nightmare. This guy, he's gonna flip out. So we are all up and running with fish in it. That big piece of wood got stained because yesterday I dosed the 180 that all these fish were in methylene blue to give them a quick bath before the move, because I plan on moving them today. So I think that staining on the wood will go away over time, but that don't really matter to me. It's not really a big deal. Anyway, everything is over here. Sorry about the glare. And everything's still pretty stressed out because it's only been a few minutes, but oh well. I turned the light on anyway. I think everything will be fine. Everything's moving around. It's not really that big of a change. They were in this tank for a long time. Most of these fish were anyway, so. That's it. Now it's time to finish emptying the 180. Got the 180 completely drained, and I still have to go through the sump and clean that up. I think I want to try to keep the bio balls cycled in that, so I'm going to move them to other sumps. But I took both an FX6 and an FX5 off this that I was originally planning to just keep cycled. And what I've done is I'm running them on my sink, and I'm actually running bleach through them. So I'm going to completely bleach these both, restart them completely, clean them out. I'm going to take them apart, let everything dry out completely for a while, and then eventually I'm going to put the FX5 on this instead, and then run 2 FX6s underneath the 300. I've got the front panel off here. So I can add filtration to this tank and the overall system really, which will be good to have a couple more canisters on there just for a little extra, because this system could use some extra filtration. So that is the plan for the FXs. I don't really like running canisters, but I will run these 3. If I'm going to run a canister, it might as well be a good one, and I do think the FX series are good ones. So that is that. My plan for this tank long term is I want to make it a nice saltwater tank, but for now I do need the tank space, and even though this is not the ideal stock I'd like in a show tank upstairs, it gives these fish the space that they need, and it is still nice. I'm going to enjoy it, just having some fish to enjoy upstairs. It's in a great location of the house, so I'm very happy about that. But someday, once I finish building the big tank downstairs, these fish can go back downstairs into a huge home, huge lifetime home, and I can get a nice display saltwater tank out of this, which I think this 240 would be a great saltwater display. So that's the plan, guys. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you so much. Sub count has been going up lately, so please, and that's amazing to me, but please comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram also, Off the Deep End Aquatics, and I will see you guys in that next video.